In 1996, after the passage of welfare reform, when George Soros set up the Emma Lazarus Fund as a one-time $50 million initiative to help immigrants that had been affected by welfare reform, I left the George Soros Foundation to head up the Emma Lazarus Fund at the Open Society Institute. Coincidentally, it was practically at the same time that Taryn left the New York Community Trust to take over the immigrants' rights portfolio at the Ford Foundation. And Mary McClymont was no longer the secretariat. She resigned from being the secretariat of the organization, and I became secretariat on a volunteer basis for GCIR. I think at the time when I launched the Emma Lazarus Fund, GCIR ended up playing a very important role, both at a substantive policy level as well as at an organizing level. One of the main challenges I had at the Emma Lazarus Fund was to move $50 million out into the field quickly. And I relied very heavily on the advice and expertise and brainstorming with my colleagues in philanthropy, many of whom that I had met through activities that we had done together in GCIR. And it was through a series of meetings, both formal and informal, with these colleagues that the strategy for the Emma Lazarus funding evolved. But also the Emma Lazarus, the Grantmakers concerned with immigrants and refugees played a much more important role than just helping me figure out the funding strategy. Since a large amount of the money of the Emma Lazarus Fund was granted out in the form of re-grants to intermediary organizations, many of which ended up being community foundations, GCIR ended up being an important partner in both providing technical assistance and in educating many of these foundations that prior to this really had not been that involved in funding in this area. And then also in promoting the issues more broadly within philanthropy and to encourage other funders to come in.